Hey Cloud Gamers, today we're having another look at Dual Universe. Dual Universe is still currently a very much beta application, but if you do want to hop into the early beta, you can check out the link in the description below. You may recall a while ago I did a first look of this game on the maximum settings only rig, so now we are putting both the Shadow PC and the maximum settings high tier rig through their paces. You can see straight away that both machines are struggling, and even though as we've got the side by side here, you can see the difference with Shadow Boost on the left on the low settings, but maximum settings is still only running medium settings here. Now I'm only going to go really through the graphics elements of the game and show you the two different kind of sections mainly. The first that you're seeing here is one of the market sectors on the Novinian world, which is your main world where there can be PvP and missions and quite a lot of other things to do. I'm then going to take the shuttle over to the Sanctuary Moon, which is a safe place where you can build your house and do lots of other things, but that's where my ship currently resides, so I will show some of the flight and the graphics over that side too. As we look over here at pretty much the parking lot of some of the ships that have come into this market sector, you can see that there's quite a lot of ships and variety around. And you can also see the occasional person running around or floating around there as well. So we're going to jump into the shuttle and head over to the Sanctuary Moon. The graphics here for the cutscenes do still need some work. As I said, this is very much an early beta still, and they are constantly rolling out updates. There's been about 5 or 6 updates, quite large patches since I last played this game. But graphics is still on their to-do list on the optimization front. It does look like the game is kind of real-time rendering, and you can see the difference here as we've hit that Sanctuary Moon, where it's much brighter and we've got much more going on. We'll move over to just the Shadow PC to show some of the flight mechanics and the graphics of just Shadow Boost on its own. As I said, Shadow Boost here is running on the lowest settings at 1920 by 1080, and it really does struggle, and I think this is more to do with the virtualization structure, that both the virtual machines are really struggling to run this game even at low settings. You can see it's really struggling to hold that 20 frames per second. And as we come out over the environment and go up into the atmosphere, it does smooth out a bit. If you look at the threads that this runs to render the what's called voxels, which is pretty much what everything is made up of, there's only 4 threads running on the Shadow Boost. But I have seen local 1080s and also 2060s running this game on medium to high settings, so I think there is definitely something to do with the virtualization engines, or just the fact that these are virtual machines, that they are not running this game as well as they could. But as you do start flying around, you do start really noticing some of the detail in this game. Got these towers as markers for market sectors, so when you are flying up in the atmosphere you can pinpoint where these sectors are. You can see they're looking back at the planet. They really have gone all out with the graphics and the detail in this game. Even there on the ship that I'm flying here, this is one of the really basic ships that I could afford from the offset. And as I come back down, you'll start seeing all the terrain and the trees start rendering back in again. I'm going to come in and park back on the market sector and head back to the main planet. But before that, I will switch over to the maximum settings rig so you can see the same flight path on the maximum settings 2080 Super. There is so much to this game. The flight and traveling between the two worlds is just the tip of the iceberg. As development progresses, I will be coming back and forth to Dual Universe to see if the cloud rigs do this any better, but I have also got a new local PC coming, so I'll be also having a look to see how a local rig plays this game in comparison to these cloud rigs. But it's definitely a high demand game right now as far as the graphics are concerned, and it's really quite exciting to see what happens with this in future. As we come and land here on Shadow PC, I'm going to move over to the maximum settings rig. You can see that the frames per second are only slightly higher, even though the graphics are the next level up. Medium is pretty much bang in the middle. We've got low, medium, high and ultra. I did try and run the maximum settings rig at high originally, and I was only getting 5 to 10 frames per second, and it was pretty much unplayable. So here we can see that slight graphics boost on the medium settings here with maximum settings. You can see we are getting over 30 to 40 frames per second as we start to go into that flight. And looking back at the market sector does look quite nice here, and the detail on the ship is not that much greater than what it was on the shadow boost. As we come up into the atmosphere though, it does look very nice looking at the stars. And I've never managed to make it to the top of this tower because basically this ship that I'm flying is not a spaceship as such, it's an atmospheric ship. So I can't actually go out into space to see the tip of this, and you can see that it runs out of power as that air thins out. So as we start coming back down, you see the curvature of the moon here. And those clouds and the market sector below, still rendering in real time. But now we're up to 60 frames per second because of the lesser detail that it needs to load there. As we come back down, again you can see the detail on the ship itself. And you'll see those frames per second start dropping as those trees start coming back into focus. And especially as we get near the market sector again with all of the other ships. If you like long-running RPG type games and being able to build your own worlds, you'll see that most of the buildings around here look quite random, and that's because they are player built. So you can mine your materials, you can buy and sell as well, and also do some missions to earn some credit. I'm going to come back into the market sector here and land, which is also tricky, but once you get the hang of it, it's not too bad. And then I'm going to take the shuttle back to the main planet for the final comparison with Shadow Boost side by side. So as you'll see, the run here with both maximum settings and Shadow Boost side by side going across the kind of parking area here and onto the shuttle. We can see again that Shadow Boost only just about holding the 20 frames per second here, but maximum settings not really holding much higher. As soon as all of those vehicles come into play, having to render those in real time, it's really struggling. We go back into the shuttle, and this is where we notice that the graphics, that the animation here is pretty much the same regardless of where you're taking off from. And likewise with the landing animation, it's pretty much the same. We can see, especially with the audio crackle there, that these are probably just holding videos at the moment until they do something better. Overall, it's still an early beta, and we are looking forward to seeing how this progresses. I will do some videos on maximum settings later on with some more gameplay of all the different sectors and one of the maybe missions, and show you the house that I've started to build. But otherwise, if you are interested, don't forget to check out that link below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all of the latest across all cloud gaming platforms, and I will see you next time.